This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the Crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Good morning. Right back like we never left. Another Saturday morning with the W Show, Kansas City, talking sports and pop culture. If this is your first time checking us out, we greatly appreciate you making us a part of your Saturday morning, because there's a lot to do in Kansas City this weekend. You have the Big 12 men's, Big 12 women's. You have the World of Wheels car show. You have so many other things going on in just like the downtown area that we're in. So, Jazz, what's happening?
Yeah, we've definitely been busy. That's for sure. All week long, but it's been good. Got to sleep in a little bit this morning, I feel like. So it's been a good morning. So
how was your week?
Solid. It was fun at the Big 12, of course.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm a big college basketball fan, so I had a time, and my Jayhawks represented well.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm having a blast.
All right, we have a lot to talk about on today's show. Friend of the show, Frank Clark. He was released by the Kansas City Chiefs earlier this week. We'll dive into that. And Lamar Jackson, he gets a non-exclusive franchise tag from the Ravens. Did you see that coming?
A little bit.
All right. Well, Tiger Woods, he's sued by his ex-girlfriend, Erica Herman, over domestic dispute non-disclosure agreement. Go figure. And WNBA legend Lisa Leslie believes there's no difference in coaching men and women. Plus, coming up in about 30 minutes, we'll have our sneakers of the week. During our Hate It or Love It segment, let's get to today's headlines.
And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the Crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
First, our thoughts go to the family of Otis Taylor, Super Bowl champion receiver with Chiefs. Died at the age of 80. This one's definitely a legend in the Kansas City community, Steve.
Most definitely. Otis Taylor, I'm very close with their family. Went to elementary school with his son, Otis Taylor III. So our thoughts and prayers definitely go out to the Taylor family. He was a pioneer. Went to HBCU. Of course, believe Prairie View A&M. Was drafted in the 1965 draft. Forward-thinking Lamar Hunt, owner of the Chiefs at the time, went down to the HBCU and that school and told him, hey, we're going to draft you. And so that's how it was. The rest is history. He was, I would say, one of the best wide receivers that in Chiefs history. There's no reason why Otis Taylor is not in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Yeah. And even he's a little bit before my time.
Both of our time.
But definitely a household name. I mean, like you said, him being in Kansas City community. And I know my dad has mentioned him a lot of times as being one of the GOATs. So it definitely comes full circle in this moment, too, with all the HBCUs on the come up and a lot of people looking towards that and how they can really benefit off the HBCUs, too. So,
and he helped the Chiefs win their first Super Bowl.
Period.
Yeah, he did. And so he finished his career with 7,306 yards in receiving and 57 touchdown catches. That's no light number. I believe he was third or fourth on the Chiefs all-time receiving list. And so if you look at his numbers, if you put his numbers up there with the guys that are in the NFL Hall of Fame right now, he's right there. So there's no reason that he's not in. So I think, and that's the thing that we talk about with the Hall of Fame is like they not only NFL Hall of Fame. So don't get me wrong, don't at me or anything on social media, guys. But they always are a day late and a dollar short.
True.
You got to give these guys their flowers while they're alive, and he was one of the pioneers in the NFL that should have been given his flowers and should be in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Definitely. Now, a lot of people are saying whether Frank Clark is getting his flowers right now. A friend of the show was released by the Kansas City Chiefs earlier this week. Steve, your thoughts on this one?
Frank, my guy, like he's now off the field. Frank is one of the my favorite Chiefs to talk to. Like he'd always, yeah, man, let's talk, let's rap. Sometimes not even about football.
Right.
And so I think Frank is definitely one of those veterans in the league that gets it. He understands the business side of sports, and so to me, he's won 2 Super Bowls. He's gotten paid. Not only did he get paid by the Chiefs, but before he came to the Chiefs, he played for the Seattle Seahawks. And so he's done everything that you need to do in professional sports. You get paid, you win championship, and you stay healthy. And he's done that. So now I think it's going to go to the highest bidder. At least I would. Somewhere warm.
Yeah, I was about to say, like we talked about last night, going to the warmest place, or do you think the Chiefs are going to bring him back?
That's interesting. They're saving $21 million under the cap.
Yeah, between him and Orlando Brown.
Yeah. No one's safe with this Chiefs team. I mean, you think about Tyreek Hill last year, and even talking to Chris Jones, defensive lineman for the Chiefs. He said, "Hey, I want my brother back," and they still released him. And I get it; you want to save money, but this is a guy who, and we talked about Tyreek. We talked about Tyron last year. They've made Kansas City their home. Like they don't leave in the off season. Of course, they may go train.
Right.
They may take vacation or whatnot, but they don't leave. They're here. They're ingrained in the community, and their kids go to school. Their kids play sports. Frank's kids do that as well, and I just think they want to be here. It's the town that they love. It's the people, the fans, and then property tax is low too. So I mean,
and we've talked about this a lot, especially with the parade going on, the brotherhood, like that you could just tell watching them celebrate together, watching them on and off the field. Do you think that has much pull? Like him saying that has that much pull to bring him back?
I think it does, especially when you hear from Andy Reid. Andy has talked about how much he loves Frank, how much he loves the fact that Frank Clark is, he looks at him like one of his sons.
Right.
And I think, and Andy Reid's the kind of coach that's like, hey, yeah, I'll put my neck out there on the line for you. And not only that, I get fans have said, look, Frank Clark was not the same Frank of 2 years ago. He was not the guy during the season, but then, and like Frank said, at the end of the season is when I turn up. That's when I come alive.
Right.
He's like, I'm the king of postseason, and he's shown it.
Definitely. Now, he wasn't the only big decision. The team also decided not to franchise tag their left tackle, Orlando Brown. That also saved them around 20 mil. So that's 41 mil combined in cap space that they're freeing up. I mean,
they saving some money.
Yeah.
They saving some money for something. Look, Orlando Brown is a guy that betted on himself. The Chiefs offered him last year. It wasn't what he wanted. And so there's like, okay, we're just going to franchise tag you. And Orlando Brown's, and then we're talking about another guy who did not have an agent, who does not currently have an agent later on in the show. Orlando Brown did not have an agent last season when they were in negotiations. It was Orlando negotiating for himself. And we see what happened with that. Now he does have an agent, a younger guy who is not, a veteran in the NFL. And Orlando is just like, I'm just going to do what I can do and bet on myself. And he did that last year. And don't get me wrong, he was okay. I think when you look at from the left tackle position, it's how many sacks you give up. It's how many times you let your guy rush the quarterback. And if you're not talking about the left tackle, then you're good.
Facts.
But we talked about Orlando Brown a few times last year. And he did come through in the Super Bowl, or in the playoffs as well. But I just think, sometimes there may be something better out there. But he did make Patrick Mahomes one of his. And they both said Patrick is my best friend. Orlando is really good friends with me. I don't know how much of a best friend Patrick or Orlando is to Patrick, but Patrick to Orlando is like a really good friend.
I mean, as they should. You're protecting me day in and day out. I hope you like me.
Yep. So
but,
when you see the like there were taking the kids out for candy for Halloween.
Yeah.
When you see Patrick, you'll see Orlando Brown. When you see him in Vegas, you see Patrick, you see Orlando Brown right there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you make your friends who you want to help you out in life. So
true. But we did talk about the NFLPA votes and everything. The word on the street of the Clarks or the Hunts not wanting to invest or being cheap. Do you think this plays into it then?
Ooh, no, I think you and here's the thing, you get what you pay for.
True.
I don't think they want Patrick to have a young left tackle in the mix that is not worthy of being there. I think you need somebody who, I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes, it's $1 billion quarterback.
Yeah.
Right.
So
he's your investment. So you have to spend the money on that. Look, we saw what happened with the offensive line in Tampa. We saw what happened. You were there. We talked about it.
We did. We did, sadly.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's one thing that you have to make sure that it's lock and key is that offensive line. You don't want your quarterback to have to run around and run for his life.
Doesn't seem like the Ravens feel like this about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson gets the non-exclusive franchise tag from the Ravens, but there's been a lot of tea on this one. See? Look,
we talked about guys that don't have an agent. Lamar Jackson does not have an agent. Yeah. If he's going to be your quarterback of the future, you pay him what he wants.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the number is, but I would say the floor of that number is what Deshaun Watson got.
Yeah.
With the Cleveland Browns. Yeah. I think he wants it all guaranteed. I would say $260 million around that number is the floor. Now the ceiling, I'm not sure of what he really asked for. Did he ask for $500 million? I don't know. I mean, because when you think about it, if we had to pay Patrick Mahomes right now, what would that number you think be? He got $500 million or 490 something million. How much do you think Patrick Mahomes would go for right now?
Whatever he's asking for.
Whatever he's asking for. So I think Lamar Jackson's like, hey, I won. We talk about all the time, like these guys pull up their resume when they're going into contract negotiations. And he's like, hey, I won an NFL MVP. Granted, he hasn't gotten to the pinnacle, which is the Super Bowl, but I think they haven't put the players around him to make him great.
Facts. Definitely.
So whatever he wants to be paid, I would pay it.
But at the same time, they do talk about Mahomes being the risk with him being so active in injury and everything. Do you think that Lamar, I mean, he's versatile. He's a runner too. Do you think that that's their leg to stand on or their backing or reasoning why is the risk to injury?
Yes, slightly.
Okay.
Slightly. We were at the combine and we talked to the Ravens general manager, and he was asked about the whole agent situation.
Right.
And he said it's a little tougher in negotiations when you're negotiating only with the player because when they have an agent, the agent acts as the middleman, so to speak. And so they're able to say things to the agent that they wouldn't necessarily say to a player.
Right.
Like, oh, well, he runs this way or he does this and we don't like that and so forth. So I think that could have a little bit to do with it. There's a reason why they're not investing in him.
Yeah.
And I don't think Lamar Jackson is going to play under the franchise tag. And the way that they set this thing up is it's a non-exclusive franchise tag, so he's able to go out and shop himself around. And, there's teams that have already come out and said, we're not interested. And I'm like, what? Y'all are crazy.
Yeah. And it's also crazy because, I mean, we've talked about the baggage and the stuff surrounding, like clean slates on and off the field too. Right. So it just raises a lot of questions. Like, where is he going wrong? Like,
we talked about him and the fact that he is he's not a legit passer. I think that's the notion about LeBron Jackson. It's like he has to work on his passing game. He's run first, and we know that that's the type of quarterback he is. Yeah. But I think he's gotten better over time, if that makes sense. But yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be rough few weeks for a few months for Ravens fans. you can't win without a quarterback. That's
Yeah.
what I'm kind of confused. I'm like, is this rebuild? Because the way Ravens head coach John Harbaugh talked about it at the combine is like, I'm with Lamar. Well, if you're with Lamar as a head coach, you're going to say, hey, this is my guy.
Right.
You're not going to let the front office dictate a rebuild. Because if you go with someone else, it's going to be a rebuild. Could you see Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson swap?
No.
Okay, I'm just throwing that out there.
And I think even then, I don't like the relationship already. Like you said, him speaking about, if that's your quarterback, you back him to the end. So why is Lamar having to demand his own respects on his name? If I'm Lamar, then I'm shopping elsewhere anyways. You don't want to give me my respects. Okay. Why wouldn't I go somewhere else? I
agree. I totally agree. It's a weird situation. It really is. I'm like, would you say he's a top 10 quarterback in the league?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would too. But it's what have you done for me lately, league?
Yeah. But if even then, I was looking at some of it and they had the top 12s and stuff like that. So you're saying that 12 other quarterbacks would be ahead of Lamar. Like, can you list a good 5 or 6 for that are even solid that you're going to, bar none, put ahead?
I can list 5 or 6.
10?
10 would be tough. But 5, 6, yeah. I could list 5 or 6 quarterbacks. I could list 5 or 6. I would say, let me see. Of course, Patrick.
That can also run, because remember, he's run first. So I want to see both sides.
That could also run. I would say, okay. I would say, right now, not in no particular order. Of course, Patrick Mahomes is one though.
Right.
I got Josh Allen. I got Joe Burrow. That's better than Lamar. I can't even say Aaron Rodgers right now because he was trash last year.
Yeah. What have you done for me lately?
Yeah, and I'm
Back to what have you done for me lately?
I'm not going to do that. I mean, it's tough. You're not going. Yeah. I mean,
put some respects on that man's name. Pay that man.
Yeah. And here's the thing about it too, is Josh Allen's been paid. Joe Burrow is getting ready to be paid. And I saw something on Facebook.
Daniel Jones is getting paid.
I could not throw Daniel Jones ahead of Lamar Jackson. I will say that. But I think Joe Burrow is going, whatever Joe Burrow is going to reset the market for quarterbacks. And does he get $500 million? I don't know, maybe. But I saw something on Facebook that said right now Joe Burrow is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson has ever been. Only thing that what I saw was the only thing that Lamar Jackson has done is win a NFL MVP. He hasn't been to the Super Bowl. He hasn't been to the AFC Championship game. Joe Burrow has done that back to back.
That's fair.
Going to the Super Bowl once.
Who's around Joe Burrow though?
Exactly. My point. That's the whole argument is these organizations they put receivers around these guys that make them good. I mean, they're already good, but they put receivers around them to make, to make it work. I mean, you see Mahomes, you see Kelsey, you see at one point Tyreek Hill, you see now Juju, MVS, all those guys. Last year, I mean, you got rid of one of his speedy receivers in Hollywood Brown.
True.
So you got to
pay that man.
Yep, you got to pay him.
Now, Tiger Woods sued by ex-girlfriend Erica Herman over domestic dispute non-disclosure agreement. She has filed 2 lawsuits against parties representing the 15-time major champion. She's seeking $30 million in damages amid a domestic dispute, as well as a dissolution of the non-disclosure agreement.
I don't get it. And I saw the report that Tiger, it was about, once they broke up, he wanted her to, he was going to give her money for a nice luxury hotel, somewhere to go.
Luxury hotel.
Yeah, I said it again, luxury hotel. And going to, give her some money. And I know money doesn't, resolve everything. But to me, this is a money grab. And I don't know the back side of their story or whatever, but like what I'm reading is that they broke up. She wanted the home. She felt like she was entitled to the house because she was living there or entitled to be able to stay there. And Tiger's like, hey, This is my house. I bought it. The only people that are entitled to this house is me and my kids that are on like an agreement in case something happens to me, the beneficiaries. So now she's wanting this, and I'm like, I don't know, but she wants $30 million. You're gonna come up with something better than him just putting her out.
Yeah. And to him, rightfully so. Like he said, having your kids, I mean, who else are entitled to that? And then sounds to me like he handled the situation correctly. He didn't have to give her the luxury hotel, didn't have to hand her a bag just to get you started.
Yeah.
You know, that sounds pretty generous to me during a breakup.
Yep.
I don't know what the situation was,
Look,
but
if I'm dating Tiger Woods, I'm put me in the hotel for 30 days plus find me a new place to live right next door to you.
Right next door to you. Okay, that's a reach.
I'm petty.
That's
I'm petty. Put me in a nice house right in your neighborhood.
Reach.
It'll save you $30 million.
Down the corner, around the block, couple blocks down. You don't need to be nowhere near
me. Okay. All right. It is what it is.
I don't want none of these problems.
So does she get the $30 million?
I think it's a reach. I would say 30 mil is generous.
Okay.
Maybe I would say like expenses for living for the next 6 months or whatever it is to get back on your feet. Okay. I feel like that's fair.
Okay.
But 30 mil.
He's going to pay her something.
And I feel like amid the breakup, I get it if it's a long-term relationship, marriage. I don't know how long they were involved, but you get, what is it, where you get accustomed to that living style?
You're right. Yeah.
Does she rightfully get to become accustomed to that 30 mil living style? Like, why?
He got it.
I guess.
Because the thing about it is she's also, the argument is also that his agents misappropriated $40,000 of her own money. So she wants the $40K back plus $30 million.
40K and 30 mil is a big jump.
It is. Plus the $30 million. So, I mean, she'll probably settle out of court for $1 million in a Popeye's chicken basket. I'm just saying.
Not the basket. Do you think? I can't help but think, he just had the controversy with the whole tampon situation and all that. Yeah. Coincidental, reaching that it comes out right around that time frame.
Yeah, we talk about the way news breaks. It's always around when someone's going through either a good time or bad time.
Facts.
And they're in the news, and so I think she's getting in that algorithm, as Q would say. You got to get in that algorithm, and I think she's in it.
Yeah.
And so we of course we're talking about it.
Right.
So I don't know, but he has money for good lawyers.
Yeah, true. But we know the media will definitely chew you up and spit you out. So
most definitely.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we'll discuss WNBA legend Lisa Leslie. Keep it locked in. This is W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Come spin with us, Kansas City. KC WeSpin 360 is the coolest 360 video spinner experience for events. KC WeSpin 360 is taking it to the next level. The 360 video spinner platform rental will be the life of the party. Everyone will be talking about their 360 video experience while bragging about it on their social media pages. The captivating slow motion and reverse effects will have your guests feeling like celebrities. The KC WeSpin 360 video spinner can capture slow-mo videos, GIFs, and boomerangs from every angle. Specializing in corporate events, weddings, social gatherings, bar bat mitzvahs, school events, and fundraisers, KC WeSpin 360 can be found online at kcwespin360.com. Come spin with us, Kansas City.
FPS Security is here to secure Greater KC protection where you need them most. Social events, birthday parties, corporate events, weddings, small businesses, and more. Call FPS Security at 816-379-3600 or visit fpssecuritykc.com. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Reliable, fast, and professional service. The Negro League Baseball Museum, proud sponsor of The W Show, is bringing the heat in February. Visit the NLBM for free admission during the month of February, courtesy of the Kansas City Royals and Royals Charities. While you are there, visit the NLBM store for all of your Negro Leagues baseball apparel. Visit the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum located at 1616 East 18th Street, Kansas City, Missouri, or NLBM.com.
Football fans, you can't spell gate without Gates, and great tailgates start with Gates sauces and seasonings. Named synonymous with mouth-watering tailgates. When you make your list of tailgate essentials, add Gates sauces and seasonings to that list. Spice up your tailgate experience with that unmistakable great taste. Available in 4 tantalizing flavors: classic, sweet, mild, and hot. Find it at your local grocer, and if you don't see it, ask for it. Visit GatesBarbecue.com to purchase any of the great sauces and seasonings. Great tailgates start with Gates.
You're tuned into the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag talk about it. Message us and we'll talk about whatever topic you want. Steve wants to talk about a little bit more. This conversation got a little heated over break. So, Steve, what's your talk about it currently?
Well, the conversation that we had about are there 5 to 6 quarterbacks that are better than Lamar Jackson? Of course, Lamar Jackson is going through contract negotiations. He's currently being put under the franchise tag. And so my 5 quarterbacks that are better than Lamar Jackson as of last season, not like in total, but as of last season, Patrick Mahomes 1, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and since we're going over last season, Tom Brady. He's not in the league. Don't get me wrong. Tom Brady, better quarterbacks than Lamar Jackson.
Bold
right?
statement.
It's not bold. I mean, it's the numbers. You got to look at the numbers.
It's Jalen Hurts for me. Like, back to having the tools around you.
Okay.
The wide receiver group
yes.
in the Eagles was jumping out the gym, right? Like, are you kidding me? If anybody put Lamar in that wide receiver group,
okay,
it's wraps.
Okay.
So that's the one. That's the one that you gotta.
If that's the case, you can throw Deshaun Watson in there. I mean, because like Deshaun Watson, he's coming back off of being out of football for a whole year and a half. So I mean, if you're going off the past, then you can throw Deshaun in there.
You're entitled to your own opinion, Steve.
And if we look at just last season, who had a better season? Tua Tagovailoa had a better season.
Oh my God! All right, we're on to the next.
I'm just going off of last season. Like
we're losing viewers. On to the next. WNBA legend Lisa Leslie believes there's no difference in coaching men and women. Let's hear what Lisa had to say first.
I talk about it all the time, as a head coach in the Big Three and coaching men, the biggest thing that we have to remember as a woman is just making sure we don't walk in the locker room at the wrong time on our players. Aside from that, there's nothing different about the game of basketball. And you really want to talk about people jumping higher and moving faster. That has nothing to do with execution, strategy, IQ, the understanding of the game and its importance. It's almost like saying if you play the game of chess, you like a woman couldn't play it as good as a man. Like it's a game of strategy, and it has nothing to do with our gender. It's a game. And when it comes to coaching, it's really the exact same thing. And the last example I'll give you is just like when you think about a professor, like you have male professors and female professors, and your idea of a professor being a good professor is never based on their gender. It's just like some teachers are hard, some people are strong, some teachers are, amazing at what they do and how they explain their work. And you can appreciate a professor for how they teach, not necessarily their gender. And so that's really the biggest difference that we have to change the minds, I think, of society about that.
I want to ask you what you think about this.
Yeah. As a former female athlete, like throughout my career, I had both female and male coaches.
Right.
So to what her point about the chess pieces, yes, you're essentially like you water everything down, you're moving pieces, right? But when it comes to relating to a man versus a woman, which is a totally different way that you perform for that coach, or totally different respect that you have for that coach, I think that's the part that changes the game. Like in the simplest form, yes, I think she has a point. Like moving the pieces. But when you're demanding the most out of your athletes, you're getting the most like personally on and off the court, pushing that person, gender affects it.
Okay. I mean, I agree. I totally agree. Good, because we talk about these Hall of Fame male coaches. You just throw here locally, Andy Reid.
Right.
And I know she's talking NBA. I mean, if you want to go there, we can talk Greg Popovich for the Spurs. We could talk, just any coach that a player will run through a wall for.
Yeah.
And I just don't see, like, right now, and the heat of in the heat of the moment. Sometimes I think, I mean, there's always sometimes controversy of, oh, well, this player doesn't like this coach. Can a woman deal with that?
Right.
And
I don't want to discredit the strength or the resilience of a woman either.
Yeah, of course.
Because I think you can still push a woman to those points and be in the heat of the moment and get the best out of the athlete.
Okay.
But it's the way that you go about it or the relate factor, because men don't have times of the month. Men don't have those type of things, that a woman needs to relate to that are other factors that affect a woman's performance, like emotions, all those type of things play into it too. And I think it's bigger than just being an athlete, and that makes it the difference.
Is the NBA ready for that? I mean, because we talk about Becky Hammond, we talk about some of the other women coaches. Let's just throw Dawn Staley. Could she go in and say, okay, I want to be a men's coach? Right, like whether it's NCAA men, or whether it's, could she and Bill Self trade places, or no? Could she coach the KU Jayhawks right now, Dawn Staley? I know professional is a lot different,
right?
Like, because you're getting paid, so there's a slight difference there. But could she? Right, we'll just throw it. Could she go and coach the Lakers?
I would say, just as much as, let's be real, just as much as, like I said, the menstrual cycles, the emotions or whatever, there's a side to that with a man as well. The pride factor, the respect factor of a woman.
Right.
So just as much as you can argue that, me arguing that for a woman, for a man, it, like, how much there, it's the feeling of how much do you really know about this, or you're going to have to earn my respects twice as hard as a man would have
100% agree.
So I think that it's pick your battles, like a double-edged sword on it. Like, there's the problems with the man in that locker room, and there's the problems with the women in the locker room. And I think that as much as you want to say, in the simplest form, like I said, as an athlete in the game, I think she's fully capable. She knows ball. She's played ball. She knows the game, but like, in navigating in that room with a man or a woman is what would be the struggle. I think she's capable of coaching it. I think she could win basketball games, but it wouldn't necessarily be because of her relationship with the athletes. It would be because of her experience with the game itself.
Yeah, and I believe it'll have to be like the team leaders, that would have to co-sign her, being in that locker room, being in as a coach, like, hey, I'm going to have you run through a wall for me. And it'd have to be like, and just throwing her on the Lakers team, it'd have to be Bron, it'd have to be AD that say, hey, she's our coach, like it or love it, or get out, So, and there's still some young teams, some young guys. We talk about the Memphis Grizzlies. They've been in the news lately. They have no player over the age of 30 right now. Still a lot of immaturity.
Right.
Like, could a woman go and coach Ja Morant?
That'd be tough. It would definitely be tough.
It would be.
And I think in that angle, as a coach, like looking at it from being a coach, she wouldn't be able to, a man would be able to walk in, sit down with a clipboard and start drawing X and O's.
And
they would listen.
Yeah.
Right. The woman would have to walk in, develop the relationship first, prove herself first, then sit down with the clipboard.
And it's not, and sometimes it's not only men that coaches can get respect from. I mean, we talked about Steve Nash. When Q was here, he's like, oh, well, Steve Nash doesn't have the same, he doesn't get the same respect as another coach, or like another coach that would be, I say, well, he was going to get respect because he was a player. He was an all-star, one of the top 50 greatest basketball players ever.
Yeah.
So that's his respect factor. That's how he's gonna gain respect from KD and Kyrie, and I think they had James Harden at the time. That's how he's gonna get the respect. Of course, it didn't work out, but this is a tough one.
Yeah.
This is a tough one.
And I think it does have a lot to do with what your resume looks like too. Like we talk about all the time. I want to listen to somebody that's in the position that I'm trying to get to.
Right.
If I want to win a Super Bowl, I want to talk to a Super Bowl champion, So like it kind of looks like, what is your book looking like when you come into it too? So I think that affects it
and
just
age.
as much. Yeah.
And age.
Definitely.
I mean, they're going to respect a guy like Andy Reid more than they would a guy like what's my guy coaches the Rams, McVay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of factors. All right. Now, former MMA fighter claims LeBron James, Tiger Woods are on steroids.
Ooh.
Let's hear what he had to say first.
Answers like, if the world understood what LeBron did, like other basketball players will hear what LeBron does and go, well, yeah, but that doesn't matter, right? It's like a baseball player and you're hitting a stick out of the way. It doesn't matter. It's like, no. If you knew what these performance enhancers did, then you would know why it does matter.
What do you think he's doing?
Only one. We have the same drug guy, if you will. I know exactly what he's doing. But there's only one golfer.
Please tell.
There's only one golfer. I'm not going to. But there's only one golfer that follows the big three. The big three is EPO, growth hormone, testosterone. That's the Lance Armstrong diet. There's one golfer, but it's Tiger Woods. Like, yes, it does matter. People will say it all the time. It doesn't matter. John Daly won it. It matters. Trust me that it matters. EPO matters. It's the reason LeBron takes it. It matters. And if other basketballers understood what it did, EPO increases your red blood cells, which gives you endurance so you can play all game long. You can shoot in the fourth quarter just like you shot in the fourth.
More red blood cells, more oxygen in your red blood cells. Okay,
yes.
got you.
It's the king of performance enhancers.
So you would prefer that, especially in a fight sport, to anything else?
EPO is king.
Because it's going to give you the stamina.
Yes.
That's why cyclists do it.
That's why cyclists
Tour de France is
so that fifth round energy is
the
more
human
important.
body is not made to do the Tour de France. I mean, the people that set that up are inhumane. So of course you have to go. Of course it's supernatural people that they're forcing them to take.
Now that you're not competing, are you still on?
Yeah. So testosterone.
It's a lot to unpack here. It's there's a lot. Like he talked about the three basically supplements that can cause people to be better than them normal selves. He said one is steroid EPO, which it helps your red blood cells and let's just say LeBron James was on EPO, right? It does not make him a better shooter. Right. It does not make him to be able to handle the ball, dunk the basketball. It doesn't make him a better basketball player. Right. The only thing that it would make him do is in the fourth quarter still have enough stamina to complete the game. Right. More than the average guy.
So it doesn't affect your skill set necessarily.
Exactly. Tiger Woods. He said that Tiger Woods is on all three. The HGH, the EPO, and with the other one that he said. It doesn't make Tiger Woods hit the golf ball. Like, playing golf is dang hard. Like, you got to hit it straight, first of all. The steroid is not helping you to hit the ball straighter.
Right.
Like, you still got to go out there and perform. The thing that he said was, okay, maybe he may be able to hit it 20 or 30 yards further than the average person, or 20 or 30 yards further than he would normally hit it. Okay. Well, he still got to hit it straight. Right. So, I mean, it is what it is. I just don't think steroids affect like they think that they do. Like in baseball, these guys get big and strong because they're on HGH. Well, you still got to hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
Right.
You still got to know, okay, he's getting ready to throw me a curveball, or hit the ball inside or outside or whatever, or this changeup, I got to make sure that I'm timing it correctly. Steroids doesn't help you do that.
Right.
So there is the argument is there. However, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Yeah, but I mean, I think his statements, there was a lot of holes in it, like we said, and all of a sudden it turns to these people aren't humans that are doing these triathletes, so it's like, okay, at what point, like, an athlete is an athlete. Like, there is those freakish athletes that you're just like, why can you jump that high? Like, there's no reason that you should be able to jump that high. So I mean, I feel like you got to give your flowers to where it's due. With LeBron, I know we talked about this a little bit last night, but he's 40, almost
38.
The question for me would be more so like, how do you maintain this in your body for this long? Like, that's where the red flags would come up. I wouldn't even necessarily say night in, night out, because he always talks about how much he invests in his body, how much he invests in taking care of himself. When you have that money, like, quite frankly, can this MMA fighter even like fathom LeBron James money of taking care of your body? So like, I mean, when you have all the tools and you're able to do all the treatments possible to recover fast, to maintain your body, I don't discredit it. I don't think it means a red flag.
I mean, I get LeBron is playing much lighter. He was at one point, he was playing at 268, 270, somewhere in there. I think his heaviest was like 278.
Yeah.
At 6'8", 6'9". Now he's playing, 6'9", 6'8", 6'9", 250 pounds. That's still a lot for your joints. You're not supposed to be able to run and jump at almost 40 years old like he does.
Right.
I mean, now don't get me wrong. There's freakish people out there.
Yeah.
That can do crazy things, but not at a high caliber. And I'm not saying he's anything. I have friends that'll probably text me right now and say, "Oh, LeBron's on something." Like he does. He spends a lot of money on his body. He doesn't do that for nothing. But I think he is either one of the greatest athletes of all time, or he's been on something. But in the case that he has been on something, like, let's just say this comes out, it's out, and it's true. Does that change the people's perception or feeling on LeBron being because some people say, all right, LeBron is the greatest basketball player ever. Does that change people's perception of that?
No, I don't think so, because like you said, what he was taking didn't affect his skill set. He didn't get a bionic arm to make him shoot the ball straight. Like, he still had to do the
bionic arm.
Yeah, like, you still had to carry out the actions.
Yeah.
So I feel like that doesn't take away from his skill set and what he's capable of.
Okay. I mean, to me, and I wish Q was here, because he'd say, "Oh, I know you're getting ready to say something about Kobe. I just know it's coming out," and it is. It's coming out. And my only thing I will say is that, and I throw MJ in there. I'll throw Steph Curry in there. Like, as you're getting older, Kobe was 37, 38 years old. And he was in the game, and he said he pushed off to drive to the basket, and we all saw it. His Achilles pop.
Yeah.
Like, it just fought. You can't defeat Father Time.
Yeah.
LeBron has never been injured ever that I know of, where he's had to have a major surgery, anything. And now he has this plantar fasciitis injury, or something wrong with the bottom of his foot, and he has to be out 3 weeks. This is one of the only times I've really known Bron to be out for an extended period of time for an injury.
Yeah. But I mean, there's plenty of athletes, like the ones that never broke a bone before. And you're like, you played football, you bang yourself as hard as you can, and you never broke a bone before.
Not at 40 years old.
I guess so.
I mean, we commend Tom Brady for playing past 40, right?
Right.
Like, but he doesn't get hit. Like, Tom Brady's not Lamar Jackson.
True.
Right. So, like, there's a difference. Could Tom Brady play wide receiver at 42 years old?
That's a different question.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about T.O. running out there and trying to play wide receiver again at what? T.O.'s almost 50? Yeah. It just doesn't happen. But T.O. has broken a bone. He broke his fibula.
Yeah.
Before in the NFC, before he made it to Super Bowl that year.
True.
So, I mean, these guys, these freakish athletes, have broken bones. They've turned ankles. We just haven't seen LeBron do that. My question is why.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Now, Gasol becomes 12th Lakers player to have jersey retired. He, of course, had an emotional induction and everything like that. Steve, your thoughts?
It's dope. He's what is it? One of the 12th Lakers players. So that means he's the 12th greatest Laker player ever.
Period.
Yeah, it's just dope. I really do. It's right up there, hanging next to the 8 and 24 of Kobe. Yeah, it's dope. it's cool too because we talked about that run of Kobe, Shaq, and a lot of folks is because my argument has always been, when it's the LeBron Kobe thing, my argument has always been, oh well, Kobe did it without Shaq, and people are like, well, he had other all-stars, and I'm like, he had one, he had Powell,
Yeah,
and that was really it. I mean, people say, oh well, Lamar Odom, he had all these other, like no, he had Powell, that was it.
Yeah,
and at that time, Powell wasn't the greatest four in the game.
right.
Like, I mean, you still had Tim Duncan, you still had a lot of other guys, and this is just dope. I like the fact that they retired his jersey.
Definitely. And I love that moment for him. I know, like you said, it was always them two. So growing up watching, it was always them two. And so for that full circle moment for him, emotional moment for sure. It definitely gave me chills watching the clips and everything. So I definitely, love that for him, as you should.
Is this the first retirement for you, for somebody you grew up watching?
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay.
Big one that I can remember. Yes, just like I said, because it was always them too. Like you definitely, that would probably be the most memorable one, but I wouldn't say that's the first.
Okay, let me rephrase that. The most memorable one, the one that you like, I watched him all the time.
Yeah,
okay.
That would be a memorable one, definitely. Right. Now we're gonna take a quick break. Coming up, we'll dive into our Hate It or Love It segment. Kick it off with the sneakers of the week. This is the W Show. Keep it locked in. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Come spin with us, Kansas City. KC WeSpin 360 is the coolest 360 video spinner experience for events. KC WeSpin 360 is taking it to the next level. The 360 video spinner platform rental will be the life of the party. Everyone will be talking about their 360 video experience while bragging about it on their social media pages. The captivating slow motion and reverse effects will have your guests feeling like celebrities. The KC WeSpin 360 video spinner can capture slow-mo videos, GIFs, and boomerangs from every angle. Specializing in corporate events, weddings, social gatherings, bar bat mitzvahs, school events, and fundraisers, KC WeSpin 360 can be found online at kcwespin360.com. Come spin with us, Kansas City.
FPS Security is here to secure greater KC protection where you need them most. Social events, birthday parties, corporate events, weddings, small businesses, and more. Call FPS Security at 816-379-3600 or visit fpssecuritykc.com. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Reliable, fast, and professional service. The Negro League Baseball Museum, proud sponsor of The W Show, is bringing the heat in February. Visit the NLBM for free admission during the month of February, courtesy of the Kansas City Royals and Royals Charities. While you are there, visit the NLBM store for all of your Negro Leagues baseball apparel. Visit the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, located at 1616 East 18th Street, Kansas City, Missouri, or NLBM.com.
Football fans, you can't spell gate without Gates, and great tailgates start with Gates sauces and seasonings. Named synonymous with mouth-watering tailgates. When you make your list of tailgate essentials, add Gates sauces and seasonings to that list. Spice up your tailgate experience with that unmistakable great taste. Available in 4 tantalizing flavors: classic, sweet, mild, and hot. Find it at your local grocer, and if you don't see it, ask for it. Visit GatesBarbecue.com to purchase any of the great sauces and seasonings. Great tailgates start with Gates.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag talk about it. Message us and we'll talk about whatever topic you want.
It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
Starting off the sneakers of the week, we got the Air Jordan 3 White Submit Reimagine.
I wanted these. I wanted these. I love Jordan 3s. Like that. If I could choose a Jordan that was my favorite, it'd probably be between these and the 11s. Yeah, I wanted these pretty bad, but they didn't even have a general release. Like, it was Nike. It was only on the Nike app. So I want them. I'll probably get them at some point, but not today.
I think I'll pass on these.
Okay.
Personally. Tiffany & Co. Nike Air Force One lows.
Fire.
Hate it.
Fire. Why? Because it's the black forces?
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like them.
Hater. With the Tiffany blue?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to think how you would fit those.
Oh,
Yeah.
Black.
All right, you got it. You got it. Nike Dunk Low Industrial Blues.
These are fire. I like the material. It's like a jean material. You probably can't tell by the picture, but these are fire.
Definitely rock them. My favorites this week: Nike Dunk Low Light Aura Wood Brown.
Yeah, these are cool. I mean, they have can't tell by the picture, but they have the stars on the toe. And if you're watching us or listening to us 100.1 FM, remember you can watch us on any of our social media platforms, and you can watch us live, and you can see these shoes.
Yeah. And I'll definitely be rocking those for sure.
Nice.
Fan pretends to be a Bucks fan for Giannis autograph. Hate it or love it. Let's see how she got the autograph.
It's currently 20 straight wins set back in 1971. Hey, take a look at this, Stephen A. This little girl got an autograph from Giannis, and then watch this. She's going to take off her Giannis jersey, and she's wearing a Sixers jersey.
Wow. That was fire. That was fire.
That was smooth. It was definitely smooth. She could at least wait to go to the bathroom or something, make it a little bit more smooth. But that's
I'm
funny.
taking this off. We're gonna put that away in the bag that my dad brought in the backpack, and we just we're gonna put that away.
Trolled for sure.
What's the autograph that you would just you would do that for right now?
Right now?
Yeah. Like you're a Jayhawks fan,
right?
So like, what college basketball player or college basketball team would you go get a autograph from right now?
You're saying like outside of a Jayhawk, like I would have to
Jayhawks.
fake not being a Jayhawk fan.
Yep.
Ooh, that's a tough question. Let's see.
Like, would it be K-State?
Absolutely not. That's bottom of the tone. No, you couldn't pay me to put that fake that.
Okay. Duke, North Carolina.
Yeah, I would probably go with not North Carolina this year. I would probably go Duke.
Okay.
Somebody on Duke just for the moment.
Okay.
Viral moment. Yeah.
Nice.
Now Chad Ochocinco joins FAMU. Hate it or love it.
I love this. I think this is kind of like a no-brainer for Ocho, because he's been like their ambassador without getting paid for the past few years that I can remember. I mean, even when we saw Dion like with Jackson State, the time that they played FAMU, Ocho was there and wearing FAMU stuff.
Yeah.
So it's cool too, because we talked about Dion leaving the HBCU schools, and now where does that leave them? Well, you have another representative who people look up to, and so people love Ocho for whatever reason they do. And it's, of course, it's his personality. It's his, and I can say he's a friend of the show, like, because he came on with us while we were in Miami. He was walking through the radio row, and I was like, "Hey, Ocho, can you come on with us?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll be back." And so an hour later, he comes back. We're packing up. He's like, "Hey, y'all ready for me or what?"
Heck yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh man, that's dope." So, and you guys, if you want to watching or listening to us, you can go back and I think that was 2019. Yeah, you can go back in our archives and view that video. But yeah, he's a man of his word, man of the people. And I was like, "Man, you really came back?" He's like, "Yeah, man, I keep my word. I fool with y'all in so many words."
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I think the biggest thing too with him leaving, it was kind of like, okay, but is he starting a wave? Like, who's next? And so that's why I liked it. I think it's a domino effect. Even though a lot of people thought that it was a loss or he just came in for the clout for the moment, I think this definitely shows that he's starting a domino effect amongst a lot of big names.
Of course. And what better place than Florida? I mean, he's from Florida.
Facts.
He's from that area, so.
Facts. NFL fans go crazy as Antonio Brown pulls off insane one-handed catch at Rolling Loud stage. Let's see the video.
Yeah. We were going to have the video, but Antonio Brown said some choice words in that video, so we're not going to play it. Well, he was doing a concert, and he's like, "Hey, guys, throw me a ball up here. Throw me a ball." And so while he's rapping and doing the concert, someone just threw a ball out of nowhere, a bullet, and he caught it with one hand while he's rapping.
Hey.
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, you should still be in the league right now. Like, there's no reason why you're not in the league. But, things happen. It is what it is.
Definitely. Still impressive, though. I'll give
Very
him that.
impressive.
Very impressive. Gunman threatened Messi at family grocery store in Argentina. Hate it or love it.
This is crazy. Very crazy. What are your thoughts on this? Because, you just think about the fact that this happened, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
It's definitely pretty sticky. I know that there's a lot to do with some family drama, family messiness, possibly. So you hate to see that for him in his career. But you would think that any athlete, any solid situation, he would be able to pull through it and back it up. So, but that's definitely, worrying about your family threats and stuff. That stuff is real.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
it's scary for sure.
It is, and you know what? It's crazy to even think that the drug trade could be affecting.
NCAA tournament, like, I get it. You have busy schedules. You can pick and choose. When you're at that stage, you can pick and choose what gigs you want to take, you don't want to take. But I didn't like it as much. I'm like, hey, just go for it, I guess.
But and you mentioned his age, but being who Dick Vitale is, right? Like, he's
He says he's dealt with major health issues before. The Bill Self situation going on now, like, when you're a GOAT, that stuff's real. Like, when you're at the top, you're dealing with a lot of factors, and I guess you have to kind of pick and choose your battles. Like, I especially when health comes into play, you got to keep your bases safe.
Of course. And what do you think about the Bill Self thing? Was like, how does that affect the team going forward? Since we're going, build their international, not national, but the Big 12 championship today, right, versus Texas.
Yeah.
How do you think that affects the team?
Hey, I don't think it stopped them or slowed them too much so far. They've had Norman coach for them in the past, so they talked about it in the conferences. They're comfortable with him. They've still got to be able to talk with Bill a little bit. I know Norman had mentioned in the conferences yesterday that they talked about the game plan, like FaceTimed or video called or whatever with Self and talked about the game plan before. So I don't think they're really skipping and beat much. Maybe going into the big tournament, the real deal, that might be a totally different story. But I think if anything, they'll use it as motivation, play for him, and still want to get the job done just for him without him being there.
It's crazy too, because you think about like Bill Self and coaches get older. Like, we seen Jim Boeheim retire earlier this week. It was at the head coach of Syracuse for over 40 years. Mm-hmm. Like, as these guys get older, that's a lot of stress and strain on your body each and every year.
Yeah.
As a coach, and it's crazy to see someone who's able to coach for so many years. Like, we talk about Bron with no health problems. Being a coach, that definitely puts a lot on your body.
Definitely does.
Well, we definitely appreciate everyone who joined in and watched on today's show. We have a basketball competition coming up. If you guys are in the area, make sure to stop by the Women's Big 12 game. It'll be halftime today of the semifinal game at noon, and then the other game at 2:30. Come by and watch my team dominate.
Oh, my team. My team.
How many shots are you gonna make today, Jazz?
How much time do we get?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. I'll give myself at least 10 to 12.
Okay. So real quick, you guys, we have teams of 3. Jazz is on the other team. So you have 2 people there that shoot from 3, and then another person can shoot from the free throw line. Free throws are worth 2, threes are worth 3. So we'll recap next week. We'll see who the winner is. But until next week, we are out of here.
The views and opinions expressed of the W Radio Show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundations, or affiliates.